This podcast is brought to you by Proton Dealership IT, experts in dealership cybersecurity and IT management. Interested in a free cybersecurity, compliance, or IT consultation? Visit protontechs.com. That's protontechs.com.
Hey, it's Daily Drive executive producer Jake Neer here in Detroit. On today's bonus episode of the show, we'll hear a story about how one woman in Ohio reclaimed a dealership's name after it repossessed her car. You won't want to miss that one. But first, there have been several new U.S. trade deals announced this week ahead of President Donald Trump's deadline. Hannah Lutz is the Director of Technology and Innovation here at Automotive News. She spoke about the deals with Sam Fiorani, Auto Forecast Solutions Vice President of Global Vehicle Forecasting. Here's a piece of their conversation.
We saw the trade deals with Japan, the European Union, South Korea this week, and we already knew about a deal with the UK. It seems like, the reaction was pretty positive from those countries and the automotive companies that are based there, getting the lower 15% on vehicles from 25%. What do you see as the long-term impact on the automotive industry on those specific deals and the short-term impact?
In the short term, we're going to see roughly 15% increases in tariffs across the board. This is going to affect parts coming in from Canada and Mexico because they're currently affected by tariffs as well on non-USMCA compliant parts and vehicles. But in the short term, we're going to see a slight increase in prices across the board, whether or not the vehicle is tariffed. It's just because the market is going to float up with the tariffs on all vehicles. In the longer term, it's going to cut out choice for U.S. buyers. We're going to see fewer choices especially on the low end and possibly on the high end. When you talk about $200,000 or $300,000 vehicles, 15% tariff on that adds a lot of money to the top line. But on the lower end, it's worse because manufacturers do not make a lot of money on $25,000 vehicles imported from South Korea, and the price is what lures the customer into the showroom in the first place. So if you no longer have that price advantage, then you're going to eliminate the models completely.
And what could that do to vehicle sales in the U.S.? Would those price increases keep people on the sidelines? Will they look to the used market? What do you expect?
We're going to see a growth in the used market, and which is going to raise the prices of used cars as well. We're going to see a decline in the new car market as people get priced out. We're currently seeing an average price of $50,000 per vehicle. And when you eliminate the bottom end of the market, you're just going to see that average go up. That will definitely push more people out of the market and decrease the size of the U.S. sales. In the longer term, you'll see people moving away from domestic brands that don't have entry-level models. You're going to see people being less attached to brands. We've seen that decline over the years where there are no longer Chevy buyers or Ford buyers. There are car buyers, and they buy whatever is available at that time. We're going to see less alliance to any brand at all going forward, and it's just going to push more people out of the market.
Coming up, our own Rudy Shork tells us about how one woman in Ohio tried to get revenge on a dealership that repossessed her car by taking the store's name. That's next on this bonus episode of Daily Drive.
While you provide top-notch support to your team and customers every day, is anyone taking the time to ensure your sensitive data remains secure? Just one click on a malicious link can place your entire dealership in danger. In fact, the average cost of a data breach surpassed $4 million last year. Stay one step ahead by understanding the threats and minimizing your risk. Proton Dealership IT works around the clock to provide you with support 24/7, 365. Operating out of a cutting-edge security operations center located in the USA, Proton continuously monitors, detects, and responds to your potential network issues or cyber threats. You've got a lot on your plate. Keep your focus on where it matters most, your customers. We'll handle the cyber support. Learn more about our comprehensive services at protontechs.com. That's protontechs.com.
A dealership forgot to renew their trademark, and a woman whose car they repossessed swooped in and claimed the dealership's name as her own. After an Ohio dealership repossessed her car, Tia McCreary discovered a way to get back. Take its name. In February 2024, McCreary went to Tailored Kia of Lima to purchase a vehicle, deciding on a 2022 Kia K5, according to court records. Before leaving the dealership, McCreary signed several documents, including a retail buyer's order. The dealership's finance and insurance manager put her electronic signature on an arbitration agreement. Although Global Lending Services initially provided preliminary approval to McCreary, a few weeks later it concluded the available information regarding McCreary's income was not sufficient to substantiate a loan in the requested amount, according to court records. Her car was repossessed by the dealership March 29, 2024, while McCreary was at work. While evaluating her legal options, McCreary discovered the Ohio Secretary of State canceled the registration for the name Taylor Kia of Lima after Taylor Automotive Group failed to submit a renewal application. The group operates 7 dealerships in Northeast Ohio, including 3 Kia dealerships, 3 Hyundai dealerships, and a Cadillac dealership. McCreary registered Taylor Kia of Lima to her own name and sent a cease and desist letter to the group because the dealership name was now registered to her. So how did the courts respond? McCreary submitted a complaint in Allen County Common Pleas Court in June 2024, alleging the dealership's group in Global Lending Services violated the Consumer Sales Practice Act and requested an injunction stopping the group from doing business under the name Taylor Kia of Lima without her consent. In response, the dealership group and Global Lending Services filed a motion to compel arbitration because McCreary's electronic signature was on an arbitration agreement for when she bought the vehicle. McCreary denied she gave the dealership permission to put her electronic signature on the agreement. The case, however, was dismissed so it could proceed to arbitration. McCreary appealed to Ohio's 3rd District Court of Appeals in October 2024. On July 25th, the appeals court unanimously agreed McCreary consented to arbitration on the vehicle through the signed document. However, the court said the use of the Taylor Kia of Lima name is not subject to arbitration because it fell out of the scope of the agreement. The court noted the arbitration agreement included any disputes arising out of or in any way related to this consumer transaction. The transaction, Judge R. Wilimowski wrote, was the purchase of the vehicle. The 3rd District concluded, quote, "Since this claim does not fall within the scope of the arbitration agreement, this claim should not have been dismissed and sent to arbitration." The case about the dealership name is back in Common Pleas Court for further proceedings. Lawyers for both the dealership group and McCreary did not respond to requests for comment. And before we wrap this up, if you want to be in the room where the biggest players tackle the industry's biggest challenges, join us at Automotive News Congress 2025 this fall. It's happening September 10th and 11th. Leaders from across the industry will gather to talk strategy, innovation, and what's next. Learn more and register at autonews.com/Congress.
Thanks to our own Rudy Shork for that report, and thanks to you for listening to this bonus episode of Daily Drive. We'll be back on Monday with a brand new full episode of the show.